All right, let's get right into it. We are about to break down one of the most intense, high-stakes escape stories ever told. And this isn't just about a miracle, It's a story of incredible strategy, absolute terror, and a climax that just changed everything. We're talking Exodus 14, where an entire people finds itself caught between a furious empire and an impossible sea. And this is our starting point, rock bottom. Just try to imagine the scene for a second. You've just been freed, you think you're heading toward a new life, and then you look back and see the dust cloud of the most powerful army in the world racing straight for you. And in front of you, nothing but water. So this quote, it's not just complaining, right? It's the sound of pure, gut-wrenching despair. They are absolutely convinced this is the end. But what if this terrifying spot wasn't a mistake? What if being so vulnerable was actually part of the plan? This brings us to the first big idea here, the strategic encampment. See, this wasn't some blunder by Moses. This was the first move in what the text presents as a divine trap. Now, what's so wild is that the entire strategy is laid out right from the get-go. First, put the Israelites in a spot that looks totally hopeless. Second, make sure Pharaoh sees it and thinks, aha, they're lost, they're trapped, this will be easy. Third, you basically provoke him to chase them. And finally, the end game, a showdown that will settle this for good. I mean, talk about dramatic irony. We, the audience, know the whole plan, while Pharaoh is just walking right into it. And just like clockwork, Pharaoh takes the bait. You'd think after the absolute devastation of the 10 plagues, he'd be thrilled to see the Israelites go. But no. A little time passes, regret starts to creep in, and that regret quickly turns into a thirst for vengeance. And you can see here, the motivation isn't just pride. It's economics. Pharaoh and his court have a sudden dawning realization of the massive economic hit they're about to take by losing their entire slave labor force. And that one question, why have we done this? Well, that's all it takes to mobilize the entire Egyptian military machine. And what a military machine it was. We're talking 600 of the absolute best, most elite chariots. Think of them as the special forces of their day, plus every other chariot in Egypt. So this wasn't some small group sent to round them up. This was the full, overwhelming might of an empire bearing down on a group of refugees. The feeling of dread for the Israelites must have been unbelievable. So that brings us right back to the shoreline, to this moment of truth. The trap is set, the army is closing in, and the people are completely cornered. And it's right here in this intense pressure cooker of a moment that you see this huge collision between two opposite forces, faith and fear. And man, this slide just lays out that divide perfectly. On one side, you've got the people's raw, unfiltered panic. They're actually saying it would have been better to stay slaves than to die out here as free people. It just shows you what fear can do to the human spirit. But then you have Moses holding the line with this message of just unwavering faith. Stand still, be quiet, this fight isn't yours. It's the ultimate test of leadership, right there. Just when the tension hits its absolute peak, the entire story pivots. The divine strategy shifts from just setting the trap to revealing a pathway through the impossible. And the first move is just brilliant. This pillar of cloud that had been leading them, it moves. It repositions itself right between the Israelites and the Egyptians. And it does two things. For the Egyptians, it creates total darkness, stopping them in their tracks. But for the Israelites, it provides light all night long. It's basically a divine smokescreen, buying them precious time. And then comes the command that just defies all logic. This is the moment the story becomes legendary. It's not a suggestion. It's an order to do something that has never, ever been done. Can you imagine the weight of that moment for Moses? Holding the fate of millions of people in his outstretched hand. I mean, can you even picture it? A powerful wind blows all night long, literally pushing the sea back to create a path of dry land. And the waters don't just, recede like the tide. They stand up like walls on either side. The Israelites are walking into the heart of the sea on dry ground with walls of water towering over them. It's just completely awe-inspiring. And here it is, the fatal mistake. The Egyptians, totally blinded by their pursuit, they don't see this impossible path as a terrifying miracle they should probably stay away from. Nope, they see it as a convenient highway to get their slaves back. Their own arrogance leads them right into the center of the trap, following the Israelites between those walls of water. And now, the trap begins to spring shut. Down on the wet, muddy seabed, the Egyptians' greatest weapon, their speed, their chariots, it becomes their undoing.
The text says their wheels were taken off, bogging them down. Whether that's literal or they just got hopelessly stuck, the effect is the same: chaos. Their charge grinds to a halt, and now they're the ones who are trapped. This is that moment of dawning horror. The soldiers in the middle of it all finally get it. They realize this isn't a battle against former slaves. This is a confrontation with a power way beyond them. Their cry, "Let us flee," it comes far, far too late. They've realized what's happening, but the way out is gone.
And with that, we hit the climax. The very path that was a symbol of salvation for the Israelites is about to become a watery grave for the Egyptians. The trap is now fully sprung. One final decisive move. As morning starts to break, Moses stretches his hand out again, and the laws of nature are basically switched back on. Those walls of water, held back by a miracle, are released. The sea rushes back to its full strength with all the crushing force that you can imagine. Pharaoh's best chariots, his horsemen, his whole army that had charged into the sea, gone. The text makes a point to emphasize the total, absolute destruction. There remained not so much as one of them. So what about the Israelites? Well, they're standing safe on the other side. And from that shore, they watch the aftermath. They see the bodies of their pursuers washing up on the beach. And this final, grim image, this is what transforms them. Their terror is replaced by awe. Their doubt is replaced by belief. They have just seen the ultimate proof of their deliverance. You know, this whole incredible narrative leaves us with a really powerful question. The story of Exodus 14 is a masterclass in turning the tables. The sea, the thing that was the ultimate barrier to their escape, it became the very weapon of their salvation. And the path right through it, which looked like an open door, was actually the jaws of a trap. It really makes you think, doesn't it, about how perspective can turn the impossible into the inevitable.